being tech savvy. So one of the examples of this is like the slide says, pandemic is fast tracking digital transformation. So what is this digital transformation that we are talking about? A very simple example is, are people able to confidently make payments over Google Pay, Paytm? These are very basics. There are many people out there who are not familiar with all this. So these are some things that we need to learn, become tech savvy about it. How do we download applications on our phone? How do we run it? Today, I don't know how many of you found it very easy to run WebEx on your computers if you have not used it before, or on your mobile. So these are the tech savviness that we are talking about here. Are you going to be resilient to future changes and disruptions? Because this is what is going to happen. If I'm a company who only expects cash payment from my clients, I'm not going to get business for the next 3 months. So I'm going to be at a loss. So am I somebody who's an entrepreneur who's ready to take money through any form? That is where I'm ready for a change. So I'm going to have to be really tech savvy and understand how technology changes things for us. The technologies, like I already mentioned, such as artificial intelligence, big data, Internet of Things, virtual and augmented reality, robotics, these are the ones which are going to take over tomorrow. So, how familiar am I with it? How ready am I going to be to work with it? Is something that all of us need to think about in the post COVID world. Creativity and innovation. We've already seen the importance of creativity and innovation during this complete lockdown phase. I don't know how many of you are familiar with this, but I get a lot of WhatsApp messages, a lot of emails. But companies who are, manufacturing shoes are offering me and sending me information about now that they are making masks. They're making what do you say, sanitizer, which works out of a foot pedal, so you don't even have to touch it. So this is creativity and innovation. Somebody who was manufacturing footwear are now manufacturing this. Many businesses, I think even Mercedes Benz is coming out with a different kind of an output right now during this lockdown period. So that is change and innovation for me. Creativity really is needed in today's world. So, in like the last sentence says, in a post-coronavirus world, we will need human ingenuity to invent, dream up new products and ways of working. So, if I'm going to tell you that I'm someone with a master's degree and this is what I know, I don't know anything about anything else in the world, I'm sorry. I don't think I'll have a place for myself in the world out there. So businesses have to come up with new ways how to deliver services virtually or quickly shift to new products. I know a few small-time grocery stores that used to be there when I was a child, which still exists. And earlier they wouldn't deliver products to me home. They would say, "I'm sorry, ma'am, we don't have anyone to deliver." But I think in the second lockdown phase, they've all opened up and they call me and say, "I have somebody to deliver it to you. Are you ready to take?" I've now opened up Google Pay. So you see how creativity and innovation is really going to help them in the businesses that they are doing. Data literacy. So I already spoke a little bit about what data analysis is all about, but now this is a very critical asset for every company. With the right data, companies are able to better predict the impact of future business. So let me not get into reading the slide. So I think all of you are very eager. Every day you must be watching news, and we have apps from the government, which are, I think Arogya app is one such thing, which gives you data every day about how much COVID is increasing across India. It gives you information of which is a positive patient around you within 1 kilometer. Are you safe? Now, this is the way data is being used rightfully. And if I'm not able to read the data or analyze the data or understand it, I'm going to be lost in the new post COVID world. So I really need to work on how to understand the data that is being served to me and really be able to deliver it to customers and be able to give back to my company what is it that I'm understanding from this. So in my own position as HR, I have my colleagues who are working to get me data on what is happening around me. How am I supposed to open post COVID? How are we supposed to open the office? What are we supposed to do for sanitizing and helping ensuring that the employees are safe? So this is how we use data to understand what I'm supposed to ensure that my company is back on track within a few days. Even though it's not affected from work from home, not everybody can work from home, obviously. So we have to ensure that we give facilities and provide spaces for people who want to come back to work. So professionals with data literacy really will be more appealing to prospective employers. So see what you can do about ensuring yourself that you are very familiar with data and able to understand data. Critical thinking. Another skill that will be essential as our global economy rebuilds from damage is critical thinking. So we have seen a lot of fake news coming up on WhatsApp, so many things which scares us, worries us, and critical thinking is something important to understand whether we know what we are reading is true or false. So there have been also many news which floats in and says, you post the news that you got into this website, it'll tell you whether it is real or false. I think we should all start looking at it. So earlier there have been scares like this. I think 100 years back there was a pandemic which actually shook the world, but India or many countries were not aware about it. Thanks, because there was no WhatsApp then, or what there was no Facebook. People were not spreading fake news around, so nobody was really worried about it. I don't think my parents ever thought about it, or even when SARS came in the early late 90s or early 2000s, people were not worried, so people were still traveling international. Of course, white powders weren't allowed in aircrafts then. We were just thinking what it is about, but this is what it was. Nobody was so scared because there was no WhatsApp, nobody to spread fake news, or nobody to think, okay, I got this information first before verifying, let me just post it and see how it scares other people or something like that. So we have to really get into critical thinking more and see what I'm sharing, is it worth it, is it really true, let me analyze it first before I share information to other people. So you have to objectively evaluate information that you get from diverse sources to determine what is really credible, what is valued, is it worth sharing or not. So not all information should be trusted, but it works the same with organization. They will need to rely on critical thinking to understand what information should give informed decision making. So it is very, very vital, especially critical thinking in the post-COVID world. Digital skills, we already spoke about it, so I will just emphasize again, be familiar with internet, digital, how can I really transform. So am I familiar with web development, digital marketing? So we just saw in the beginning that how the whole social media thing works, and thanks to Spandan, I think they are doing a lot of things in social media. So how familiar am I with social media? So today people who have I think got on out of school for 30 years, 25 years now, get in touch with their friends and family across the world. The world has become a very, very small place. Even WhatsApp is part of social media. So are we now really familiar with how do I market on social media? So I don't know how many of you are familiar with this, but Facebook does have something called a Facebook marketplace. So if I go and look at something, I'm easily able to buy something that a woman at home is selling from Jaipur or somewhere. And I think earlier this wasn't possible. So I can sit at home and now without investment do any kind of a business. I'm able to reach out to people through Facebook, through Twitter, through Instagram. So am I able to do that? And I'm able to do that only because I'm very familiar with social media. And we also need people who are able to do that kind of marketing for us. It's called digital marketing. You see ads of a lot of companies which come there. Are you familiar with this? Would you like to join us? Would you like to do this course? It's because people are getting very good with digital marketing. That will become very, very important in the future. So if you're someone out there who's a fresher, you would want to possibly look at and developing your digital skills like web development, digital marketing, and these are going to be really core skills going future. Added skills now, but core skills going to the future. So if you want to help companies run their digital business, this is where you need to be in the digital arena today. Tomorrow it's going to get very big and it's really going to help people update themselves. This is not just for freshers. This is also for people who are already working and possibly want to think about how they can develop their own profile. I mean, what do you say? The domain they are in, how they can get into digital world and see how they can get progress in that. So leadership, this is a very big spoken word. So many of them feel that if I have to be a leader and if I have to take on skills, I need the title of a leader. No, you don't. So in this, lockdown period, I see many boys and girls or teenagers or people coming out and taking on the leadership role of taking money, distributing food to people who don't have access to it. They don't need to be an MP or MLA or a minister to do that. They actually, what they just had is a leadership skill in them. They took out and they went and they had that innovation and their initiative. They said, "Chalo, let's do it. I want to help somebody." That is what leadership is all about. You have to show the companies that you want to join that this is some major skill that I have. I really want to be a leader at any level of an organization. I can be a leader even if I'm a fresher. So I will take on, it doesn't have to mean that you want to stand in front of people and always talking. That is not what leadership is all about. Leadership is about taking that initiative to get people to do something together or pass on that idea that you have to somebody, and as minimum as encouraging somebody to do something when they're losing heart. That is all leadership is all about. So especially professionals with strong skills in leadership, including how to bring out the best, like I said, and inspire teams, really are going to be in a lot of demand in organizations going forward. So if you are someone with that kind of skill in you, please work on it and show that side of yours to the organization. I don't know how many of you have heard this word. It's almost on par with IQ now. IQ is intelligent quotient. So EQ is a very, very important aspect of having in yourself to progress within a company right now. So there is only one point till you where you grow if you have technical skills. Beyond that, your emotional intelligence and your other skills is what takes you forward. How empathetic you are towards your people who work with you. How empathetic are you with people who report into you? These are certain things that demarcate you from other people. So the ability to be aware of, express, and control our emotions and be aware of others' emotions is what emotional intelligence talks about. So this is one area where I'm working very rigidly and I'm very interested in because emotional intelligence is not needed only in organizations. It is needed everywhere with any person that you interact with, be it personal, be it society, be it organization. It really makes you stand apart if you're very good in your EI. EI skills is now looked at emotional intelligence. EQ is your emotional quotient, which is measured in many tests that if you can Google, you can find out. But I don't know how true all of them are again. Use your critical thinking, like I already said. So I already mentioned to you why I was doing a lot of courses. So this is something very, very important for you to progress in your own domain. You commit to a lifetime line of learning. Learn a lifetime of learning. The first sentence that I really wanted to put in this slide was never feel happy with the past success. Somebody comes to you and says, you know what, 10 years back I did this, it doesn't hold good anymore. What you did yesterday doesn't hold good anymore. Forget about what you did 10 years back. Every day you have a challenge of proving yourself what you can do best next. So, especially now with the tight job market, professionals are always faced with what can you do better next. So, you need to equip yourself with advanced and expert job skills always, especially those in IT. I think every day a new skill is coming out, and how you want to arm yourself and be the one among the first who knows those skills. Professionals and companies are always looking at you and want to hire you for that. So these kind of job skills will always be in demand, and you're less likely to struggle to find employment even after you grow up to be in a bigger position. So commit yourself to a lifetime of learning. Like earlier times, you don't have to spend loads of money or the years of studying. All you need to do is identify some good MOOCs, that is free and open online courses available out there. So there are some which give you so much of training with so much less of money. All you need to do is be always open to learning, equip yourself with such kind of skills that are in the market, and be on the lookout as to what is the latest skill that is needed for in your domain. Be, what do you say, net savvy. You will get all this information. Subscribe to some vital sites. They keep sending you information like this, and you'll always be able to equip yourself with such kind of skills. So this is something very, very important that you need to work with. So why I put up this slide is something I've seen in the last 10 years, integrity and work ethic. So we have hired a lot of freshers who really want to grow up to be a manager very soon, which is justified. Which is justified. Somebody speaking if they put themselves on mute. So this is very justified. So what would I want to talk to people about being part of this HR also is integrity. What I mean by integrity is if you're made an offer by one company, if you accept that offer, stick to that, and that is your integrity. Keeping that offer in your hand, don't go around shopping because the world out there is very small. They talk to each other. We especially do that, especially in the clinical research industry. I'm talking the industry that I am in. If somebody takes our offer and goes shopping around, we talk to each other, that company and us, and both of us would prefer not to hire such a person because definitely that person is not someone with work ethics. And work ethics also means that you stand accountable for what you do, take responsibility for the mistakes that you do, and really ask yourself, am I good enough to be a manager? Because if you're a manager, the careers of many other people are in your hands. You need to shape them, help them grow, and that is what actually makes you a manager. Just a few years of technical experience doesn't qualify you to be a manager. So you need to grow those managerial skills in you, develop that emotional intelligence to be a manager, and really develop that work ethic, which gives you accountability, responsibility, and integrity to grow into that role. So this was a very important slide that I wanted to talk about. Please develop this, and if you have this, any company will want to hire you. So this is a photograph of a part of my company, which looks like this. So I think I would like to hand over back to Aparna or open up for questions.
Yeah, thank you, Nandini. Yes, it was very, very informative. So now we will open up for questions. Aparna ji, you're managing the question answer, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, you are.
So, Nandini, do you want to just give some perspectives about the kind of nature of jobs that's available in the industry that you are in at a very high level? And then how is the trend with respect to hiring probably in the next 1 year, or what is the current scenario?
So basically, the kind of people we hire in our industry are masters in life sciences, bachelors of medicine, and people like that, somebody who's familiar when they read clinical trial data. So we take masters in biotechnology or biochemistry or microbiology, people like that. And I don't see any death because ever since the lockdown happened, at least in our India office, globally we have had some 121, but in India we have had around 40 people in our Bangalore office across Bangalore and Hyderabad. So I don't see a dip in clinical research because every day they're trying to find new drugs for new diseases. New diseases are being discovered. There is a fight for discovering new trials and new drugs. So there is no dearth for jobs in that area that I'm working in. But there is a dearth for good people in the sense we are looking at people with good communication skills, good attitude, which is very difficult to find. Good attitude, I mean, you don't walk into an interview with torn jeans and beard, not shaved, and you give the first impression that you give is, I don't want to hire this person because they don't have personal ethics and personal hygiene. I don't know what they would contribute to the company. So let me be very honest about that. So this is the trend that I'm looking at. Clinical research industry doesn't look at a dip like other industries as fast as you're looking at an IT industry or anywhere else. So that is my view on what you just asked, Aparna.
Sure. Thank you, Nandini. So we now open up to Q&A. There have been some questions which came up as you were talking about it. So the first one is the question is I'm from pharma marketing, running our own pharma private limited company. How do
Uh-huh.
I see marketing field? Since this field needs people physically to meet the customers, how can we go about in marketing our products?
So I think post lockdown, I would say there's a slight change there. We are also having a marketing team. You can try to set up interviews over Skype with the doctors, or if you're selling, I mean, medicines, that's what I'm meaning. So try to set up digitally. Even the doctors would prefer that if I don't want to meet you in person for the safety of both you and me. So see how you can train your personnel, sales personnel on using WebEx, whatever you are using right now, Skype, Teams. There are so many out there, and even as simple as having a WhatsApp video call with your clients will really help you sell your products. But be open to using new kind of WebEx or video media, wherein you can talk to people.
Sure. And the second, sorry, and the second question goes: this person is an RPA and leading delivery excellence team in the organization he's associated with. I see a huge impact on business and projects. With impact on business worldwide, IT projects may go on hold. How do we see future with expectations of almost 40 to 50% job loss in the next 1 to 2 years?
First of all, I would like to ask, what is an RPA?
Robotic process
So it's
automation.
yeah.
Okay, so why do you think there's an impact? If they can give me some more clarity, probably I'll be able to answer.
I would allow
And
the.
then,
Okay, go
so
ahead.
I'll just speak up. So basically, I'm seeing that the IT projects from various industries with organizations going under lockdown. There's not enough business, so they are they are losing business, so they are putting IT projects on hold now. So we see that almost for next quarter, most of the projects which we were handling have gone on hold. And the organizations are deciding based on their own comeback after COVID. So they are, it's like a wait and watch situation. So pharma industry is not hit because probably it's still going strong, healthcare and pharma, but other industries like manufacturing and uh, you know tourism industry, it's all impacted.
I agree. So what I already told you about upskilling themselves. So I think manufacturing industries, a couple of them actually, I have a few friends working there. We were also talking about this. How do they actually see how they can upskill themselves into, I don't know, robotics? Probably something that these are some creative thinking that the management or the organizations have to do in seeing how they can face such situations in the future. Coming to IT projects, I think there are so many IT fields right now where you can upskill yourselves or the organizations can move into, where there will be no loss for clients. If not international, at least domestic clients will be available, where you get to digitize people's, whatever you say, whichever domain within the company. Suppose I want an app in place for human resource. So I think companies can get into creating apps and actually getting into the digital medium. This will definitely ensure that they will get future clients, because many of the companies are going to look at it post COVID. So even for IT, that would be something that's good to look at.
Thanks, Nandini.
That's
Yeah. And the third question is, are there any recommendation suggestions that you have for portals which offer online training courses? It could be either paid or free.
I think Udemy is one of the best. They have a huge number of courses with very minimal fees. The maximum fees that they take for any course is around $7.99. I know, because I myself have done a lot of courses in there. There is Coursera. So all you need to do is put MOOC in Google. You get a list of actually online portals which trains you on whichever area that you're looking at. And I would suggest definitely Udemy is one of the best. Go and check out what courses you want to do. It's very affordable, and I think it is open lifelong once you register yourself. So you can go and finish that course whenever you want to or whenever you have the time.
The next one is, can we expect a boom in medical device auditing and quality assurance sectors post-COVID, as India has started manufacturing indigenous medical devices, PPEs, other biomedical accessories, and so on and so forth?
Actually, I think that's the next industry which is going to boom. Like I said, everybody now wants to get into the medical device industry. They started creating thermometers, no touching thermometers, no doing. But none of them realize that if you have to buy it, it really has to go through the quality process. So yes, quality process will definitely see a surge. And just with quality auditing knowledge, you need to have how to do this auditing digitally. So tomorrow the client doesn't want to entertain you. If you're an auditor or a person with a manufacturing industry, you might want to work with them to see how you want to digitize their auditing or take a look at their quality process. So this is something definitely companies might hire, down the year.
Thank you. I'll open up to the audience because these are the questions that came up. We will give a couple of more minutes in case there are any questions, and then we move to the last segment.
Very good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, sir.
It was pleasure hearing you. So I am a student, basically. I'm a master student. So I'm graduating this year. So my question is a general one, that most of the students who are graduating this year, I mean this 2020 year.
Okay.
So what they have to do for recruitment process, like for IT field, they do hire online interviews and all. But I belong to a mechanical background. So for companies, for the law students, for mechanical students, what is the procedure? What is the gateway to get a job?
So just because you're a mechanical student, I'm sorry, I didn't get your name again.
My name is Atul. Atul Lesbert. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Atul, just because you're a mechanical student doesn't stop you from getting into any other field, first of all. So look at your interests. So data science is an industry in India which has very, very wide scope of growth. Like I said, all this OTT media, like Amazon Prime, Netflix are all getting into India. There are a lot more other things like Sun Next, everybody getting into India. So data analysis is a huge thing that's going to happen in India. So even though you're a mechanical engineer or whoever your friends are, they might want to get to train themselves in a proper way on data science and see there's a huge scope for them. There are very few people available in India right now. So try to take a look at such kind of skills that are opening up in India. So digital marketing is another area where not very good people are available right now. So that is one area you might look at. And many of the companies, except for the manufacturing, are hiring over Skype or anything now. Nobody's asking you to come in person, except if they want to see you and actually doing something with a machine. Probably you might have to be in front of them. Otherwise, many of the companies are now actually getting into video interviews.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
If that answered your question. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, it did, ma'am. Thank you.
So, Nandini, what is your thought process with respect to digital marketing in pharma industry?
That has played a huge role, Aparna, actually. So we have our own marketing team across the globe, and I know many of the pharma companies within India also have this. So they now present their products through Skype or through WebEx to the doctors, take an appointment, talk over WhatsApp video, and send the samples through Dunzo or something. So digital media marketing is really making a lot of difference. So if you see many of the ads come on Facebook and the regular social media where a lot of people are hanging out, I think now it's breaking open even to Snapchat, because many of the teenagers and others don't get into Facebook. It's past for them. So Snapchat is another area where digital marketing is looking at right now. They're sending advertisements through that. And I think WhatsApp, all the products are coming in, and people do loads of businesses actually on WhatsApp. Like I said, there are many women entrepreneurs who want to market. They don't have a big budget for marketing. So they use WhatsApp as a medium to sell. On Facebook, they sell. So social media and digital marketing, whichever industry, not just pharma, is going to have a real growth in the coming years down the line.
I have one question. It's Manjit here.
Yes,
Okay.
Manjit.
So I'm one of the admin for the group and working with the Bharataspandan. So what we see is sometimes we refer resumes. So the challenges we see is lot of resumes do not have any internship or good projects. And
Right.
maybe, so what is the impact? Because especially I feel that they may face challenges in the, getting a job. So what is your opinion around that?
Since you're talking of resume, Manjit, I would like to add a lot more things to the concept of resume. I've seen more than 10,000 resumes in my career. There are many times I see two resumes very similar to each other, except the name, and there are times when they've copied the name also from the net. So what I would suggest is, if you've not done internships, if you've not done anything, it's okay to say it in an interview. It will not harm your career as long as you're being very honest about what you know and what you don't know. You can even offer to be a part of their internship team if they want to join a company which they admire. So go talk to the HR there, or send in an application which is really honest and has only the details that you know and not copied from the internet. Make it very clear, because within a span of a year, I see people who have 1 year experience would have done everything possible available in that domain, and they would have no knowledge of anything when they're talking about it in the interview. So that actually gives a very bad impression to the employer about you. So please, whoever is making their resumes, be honest in your resume. If you don't know many things, that's fine, but be open to learning and be very honest about it in your interview, that I am open to learning. I don't know about it right now, so please give me an opportunity to show that to you. Trust me, many companies do give you an opportunity. If not, start off with a high salary. They give you an opportunity to start off as an intern, probably give you an opportunity to work free with them. For that will actually can come on your CV. So think about it. This is some way that you can approach when you're presenting a CV.
Okay. Yep. Thank you.
Anybody has any more questions for me?
There were some questions on the chat, but now you took up those ones, right?
Yeah, I have to put all of them.
Okay. So anyone has any questions for Nandini?
Yeah, somebody just mentioned that doesn't work like that, because it's between authorized medical person, doctor, and we must go physically to meet this customer. I think it's a medical representative. Trust me, my brother is a vascular surgeon. It does work like that. You need to send your ID card ahead of time and show them that you are an authorized person from an authorized company. And the current scenario, you can't come and meet them. They will give you an opportunity. There are many hospitals in Bangalore which are already doing that. So try it out. There is no industry which doesn't want to get digitized right now. There are many opportunities. You just need to try and make an effort and show them that you do really care, and it's for their own safety that you don't want to meet them in person. So it will work. Any other questions?
Yeah, I just have one question. Good evening. This is
Good
Parvati.
evening. Hi, Parvati.
Yeah, hi. Just to add on to one of Manjit's question, I would say it's a derivative question. We see at least like 10,000 to 15,000 biomedical engineers passing out from India every year. I myself am
Yes.
a biomedical engineer. So
Okay.
just considering the amount of opportunities that biomedical engineers in India have, do you think there is a scope for transition from a medical engineer into a clinical research professional? Because as you said,
Absolutely.
you guys hire people with biochemistry, life sciences background. And let me be very honest, here in Singapore, most engineers, biomedical engineers or mechanical engineers, they have to go through all these clinical trial courses, because at some point of time, we have to deal with clinical trials and experiments with patients. I mean, at least that's what I'm doing. So is there such an opportunity in India? Do we have a
So
transition?
many of the CROs in India, like ours, hire mechanical engineers into their programming team. We have something called a statistical and analysis software programming that we do for clinical trials, and many of them are from the non-pharma or the non-science background. When I say non-science, I mean the life science background. They're all engineers in mechanical, they're engineers in computer science. So only thing you need is an aptitude to code, learn SAS programming, and try to understand what clinical trial data is all about. You don't need a degree or a diploma from clinical trials, especially in India. So biomedical engineering students just have to realize that there is an opportunity for them in CROs. They have to learn a few things like SAS programming because they already know about the domain that they are coming from, which is clinical trials, and they'll definitely succeed in that area. So there is a dearth for people in SAS programming. So they can think about in data science, in clinical research organizations is another area that they can work with when they're being biomedical engineers. So I think I answered your questions, didn't I, Parvati?
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Anybody else?
Anybody else has any questions? Sorry, Nandini.
I can ask something. If anybody else has, they can go. I
You
can
have 3
ask one
minutes.
question.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay. One question is around, we hear that some industry may shift out from China. So do you think it is going to happen, or I'm not sure if a lot of news is coming that India and several states are also trying, but do you see that some of the industries may shift out in next 1-2 years, and which industries are they where people can focus or maybe try to see and look for it and maybe try to train themselves?
So whatever I've heard in my HR circles, around 1,000 companies have already signed up. Narendra Modi is working towards getting them into India as early as possible. And Apple is one of the major retailers that is coming into India. One of the names only I know. The rest 1,000, I'm not sure. I don't want to give names here, but there is going to be huge opportunities for people because of many companies coming in. So IT might also be one of them. So it all depends on what kind of skills that they are looking at, which is not yet known to people. So this is the answer I can give you right now. Anything further I come to know, I can always share it with the group here and they will pass it on to the WhatsApp groups that they work with you.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, Nandini. As a last thing, would you mind sharing your contact details or at least email ID in case people have anything to ask and then seek for a guidance that you.
Absolutely. I am entering it here in the chat. People can reach out to me here. My contact number and my personal mail ID is put up there. Any questions, please feel free to reach out to me anytime. And I would also like to mention here, if everybody's questions are over, that our own company runs an academy where we train people on medical writing, clinical programming, which I already spoke about, SAS programming, and pharmacovigilance. Pharmacovigilance is something where we do marketing post-drug release. And if there are any issues with that drug, when people start taking it, they raise it with a person, and this is analyzed by doctors in our company. So this is called pharmacovigilance. Like it says, it vigilance. It watches what happens to the drug after it is released in the market. So these are some of the courses that we are offering. I'm going to share with you on the screen here. So this is called MMS University. These are some of the courses that we do. You reach out to my number. I will put you on to the right person if you are interested in doing this course. We also offer internship opportunities as part of the course. For clinical SAS programming, it's a 4-month internship because you don't learn coding just in 1 month. The course is for 6 weeks each. It's an online course. You can do it wherever you're sitting from. You will have some scoring that you have to do. End of the program, you'll get a certificate from US and some universities that we are tied up in the US. And if not anything else, that certificate will help you get jobs in the clinical research industry. Medical writing is nothing but analyzing data and writing it in the format that the company actually needs it to read. And when you go to a doctor, I think medical representatives here, when you go to a doctor, when you have medical inserts or carton inserts for drugs, that is also a form of medical writing that we teach people to do. So this is an industry where there's scope for many people to work in. So I'm just sharing all the details that the courses that we offer. If you want more details, please reach out to me. This is a wonderful opportunity for people to take because unfortunately not many people are aware of what the clinical industry, research industry offers to you. So take a look at it. If you want to try it out, talk to us. We'll give you information and then see where you want to take it from there.
I think Nandini ji, that's a very good point you brought up. So how is the job opportunity in that field once they go through the training in your institute? Just want to give
So
some.
Yeah, basically, we don't have any trainers as such. All the people who are actually working on live in the data or live in the projects are the people who train people out there. So we give internships. So when the internships are offered, if there are vacancies in our own company, we absorb them or we give them a certificate saying that you did this course, and it's very easy for them then to go out and look for a job. At least they have then a focus on what is it that they want to do with and what kind of a job they are looking at. So also with programming, we give them a 4-month internship. If there is an opportunity, we onboard them. Otherwise, we give them a certificate, and 4-month internship is good enough for them to understand what kind of programming they're supposed to do, what is the data they are looking at, and definitely give them an opportunity to actually answer the interview questions outside and face this kind of an interview in our domain like that. And like I said, clinical research industry is somewhere where there are no job losses or there's no dearth for jobs, because every day you're finding new diseases and they need new kind of drugs to come out to cure that. So there is like a life cycle which keeps going on. Diseases keep coming, drugs keep getting innovated. So I think there's a scope for work there, so much of work that doesn't have to be exactly in drug research itself. There is where people are now getting into, like people said, digital marketing. We want people in digital marketing there. The companies want to be highlighted in social media, so they hire social media specialists who can help them market their company there. So these are some areas that you can actually look at specializing there. It's an interlinked industry, so you get a lot of opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Nandini. Thanks for that input. How anyone can contact or get registered for that course? Or
You can call me on my number. I'll put you on to the right person in my company who actually handles this. They'll give you all the details. Based on that, you can actually decide if you want to join. You don't have to join. What is the process? Everything will be mentioned by them.
okay, that's good. Perfect. Yeah. Thank you so much. So I think we are on top of the hour. Is there anyone has any final question? One last one.
If anybody is feeling shy to ask me a question here on this platform, please reach out to me in person. I would love to answer any of your questions.
Sure. Thank you so much, Nandini ji. Thanks for taking your time and attending this session.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure to talk to all of you and give you an input and help people get jobs here.
Thank you.
So I would like to interact with more of you, and all of you have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank
And
you. And
special
also,
thanks
I
to
wish
Aparna for giving me this opportunity.
yeah, I also wish to thank
Sorry.
Job Scoop admins who are not just helping people but also coaching them, Aparna ji and Manjeet ji. So thank you so much. And before we sign off, next, I'm getting a lot of echo. Why? Okay. Before we sign off, let me just mute you, Nandini ji, if you don't mind.
I've already muted.
Okay. I still get echo. Sorry about it. So finally, the next session that we have Suhas Gopinath, who has accepted to come over as a speaker in the next week. He was at the age of 18. He became the CEO of a global incorporation, and he was the world's youngest CEO. So please join in for the next session as well. We will send you the details. If you don't get the invite, you can always go to Bharaspandan Twitter page or Facebook page where we will be posting the details. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Nandini ji. See you next week.
Thank you very much, sir, and have a nice day. See you.
Thank you.